Hello traders, Julius the Campanar here on Monday the 3rd of June with a quick update, a quick video with a look at sector rotation and the S&P 500 of course, because I think that the move last Friday is something that needs to be addressed. I'm going to leave the in-depth interpretation to Todd. I'll give you my 2 cents on what's happening or what I see happening in sector rotation and how that may impact the S&P going forward. If we look at the RRG on a daily scale, the one that's on the screen right now, we see quite an interesting picture because XLK is inside the leading quadrant, so technology is inside the leading quadrant, but rolling over the last 2 days, so this is Friday and Thursday. And pretty much all others, so there's one more, so there's XLV that's also going down, but it was already on that trajectory. All the others, XLRE not so much, have kind of put in a hook. XLE, consumer discretionary, industrials, staples going down here, materials, this is financials, and then here's utilities inside weakening going up, and there's communication services going in a straight line up. Point is that technology is the largest market capitalization sector in the universe, and it's the only one inside the leading quadrant. Because this is a closed universe, it means that all others, so the market capitalization offset needs to even out, and that's happening here. So technology, and to a lesser degree utilities, are causing what I would call a positive pull on the tails, and these are all negative pulls, and when you multiply that with market capitalization, it all evens out to 0. What this means is that the drive or the move last Friday, or the last 2 days essentially, is that money is moving out of technology and into pretty much everything else. And that's interesting. So the sector rotation going on, money moving out of tech, which is the largest sector, moving just for simplicity's sake into all other sectors, and that is pushing the market really rapidly higher towards the end of the day. So the big question that we need to answer now is whether this is a sustainable move and this is the end of, well, it wasn't even a decline, maybe more a sideways move, or is this just a simple little hiccup, and are we still in the process of putting in a new high? Well, the answer to that is obviously still out. The jury's still out on that. I don't know. But what I can see is if I look at the chart of the S&P 500, obviously here's that big move up on Friday. If you look at the bigger picture, we're still below, we're kind of at the low of this big engulfing candle on the 23rd of May, which probably is going to provide some sort of a resistance together with the previous peaks here, which were expected to act as support. Didn't happen, so we're pulling back. So what's happening on Monday today is going to be interesting to kind of get a gauge, get an idea on what we will see the rest of the week. We haven't started new higher highs, higher lows, so we're still essentially lower highs, lower lows, because this is your high, this is your first lower high, this is your low, this is your, well, presumably your first lower low. We don't know for sure yet. So only if this move continues and we take out the high here, which is 53.15, then we could say that this very premature, very early stage series of lower highs, lower lows is being disbanded, and that's not the case right now. So I'm going to leave this kind of in the middle. I'm not going to make a judgment call on what's happening here, but if we look at the RRG again, then you can see that technology is probably the driver behind, well, the money moving out of technology into something else is the driver behind that move higher. So let's look at what's happening in the technology sector. If I look at the chart of the technology sector here, and this is a weekly chart, and if you look at that longer term picture, then we see that there is a massive negative divergence between price and the RSI. It was already there, but it's now kind of confirmed. with this little hook lower. So we now have a confirmed high in the RSI, which is definitely lower than the previous high, while the high in the price chart is definitely higher. So that's your negative divergence. If we look at the candle, we see a big engulfing negative, bearish engulfing candle in XLK. So what is my take on this? Money moving out of tech into everything else. Question, will that outflow be enough to keep the market up? I think that's the big question that we need to ask ourselves. And I don't know. It's difficult. I see the most important sector making a pretty negative weekly candle combined with a negative divergence in the RSI and a negative divergence building up or already there in the MACD. So there's quite a few kind of negative items coming our way in the technology sector. And as you know, it is the most important sector in the S&P 500. So if, and it's a big if the other sectors are strong enough to absorb the money that's rotating out of technology right now, then we could see the S&P. I don't think we can see the S&P really going higher if this rotation continues. But if these sectors are strong enough to absorb all that capital, we may see more of a sideways movement instead of a decline, a move lower. So that's what I'm going to watch this week. First of all, whether the outflow out of technology is going to continue, and B, whether the other sectors are strong enough to absorb that capital and keep the S&P 500 at current levels so we can have a digestion moving more sideways than down. But we need a few more days to be able to tell us that. Stay with us for the rest of the week when we do Technical Thursday, when we do SIS on Wednesday, and Chart Request Live on Friday. I'm hoping to see you inside, and otherwise, looking forward to seeing you again next week, same time, same place.
Hi, it's Todd from tradinganalysis.com. Thanks so much for watching. Listen, my team and I have so much to share with you in terms of our technical analysis, our fundamental analysis, portfolio management tactics, trading in and out, maybe options, sector rotation. Let us know what's most interesting to you. Maybe drop that in the comments section and we'll do our best to work it in. Also, consider clicking the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified when we put out new videos. And finally, you can check us out at tradinganalysis.com if you'd like to see us manage our real portfolios in real time. Thanks again for watching.